Hey guys, it's Noah here with IntegralBricks, and this time I have an unusual video for you, but it's something I'm very excited to do. For those of you looking for the more regular content, you don't need to watch this. I will be back to my regularly scheduled program with the next video, but for those of you who might be interested, this is going to be showing you guys my collection of Pokemon cards and how I am journeying to collect all of the current Pokemon cards that there are, and eventually I hope to make a large poster of these cards, and I'll kind of get into that later. But as you can see, this is my big box that I have right now. So this collection and the overall goal, like I said, is to make a poster, or probably several posters, because there's over 800 Pokemon. So it's gonna be, and one card is, I don't remember what the dimensions are. I think it's like 5 inches by like 2.5. So it's a lot of space. But I have most Pokemon. I have probably 95% of them already done, already collected. So I'm going to show you guys all of them right now, and if you want to see the really rare ones, like not just the commons and uncommons, you might as well just skip to the end of the video where I'm going to go over the really rare ones. But for those of you who are interested in seeing all of them, here we go. So these are some of the ones that I don't have sorted. Right here's a little sneak preview at one of the really rare ones. We have our Neo Destiny Shining Mewtwo, but like I said, I'll go over that later. These unsorted ones probably won't even really go into right now. Let's look at these. So I got this big box from when Shining Legends came out. It was one of my favorite sets because I really like shiny Pokemon. I used to do a lot of shiny hunting in the actual video games. So it was cool to actually get a set of cards that focused only on the shiny Pokemon. So I bought a whole bunch of those. And so right here are my organized stacks of cards. I'm going to move this over for now because these other two boxes just has, there's no cards in them. I think it's just like a little accessories and something like that. So let's move this over here. And I already did most of the sorting, so hopefully this will go smoothly, but basically we have it organized by generation with these little sleeved cards randomly placed in between. These are some of the cards that I have. They're legendary full art cards, so I try to collect at least one full art card of every legendary Pokemon that there is. A lot of legendary Pokemon have more than one card, obviously, but I just wanted to collect, my favorite of each. So let me see how I did this. So that one. Okay. So starting with Gen 1, we have it all the way back here. Let me see where I can. Okay, so it ends right there. See if we can pull all these out. Hopefully I won't ruin the organization, but alright, so here we go. This is my stack Gen 1 cards, all organized. So I'm going to go over them really quickly. Like I said, I have about 95% of them, so you may see a slot missing here or there, but we got these three. And one more thing I want to mention before I go into this quicker. I do have the old cards. Like, I have a base set Venusaur, but I don't have that many of them, and the point of my poster, which is the overall goal of this, is not to collect all the old cards, it's to collect every single Pokemon. And I'd like them to look as consistent as possible in the artwork, so I'm going to be separating the newer cards from the older cards as best I can. So you're not going to see all the really old cards until the end of this video. So we got like that, and like I said, Charizard is missing because that artwork was really old. We got these three Squirtle lineup, Caterpie to Butterfree, Kakuna Beedrill. I'll start setting these down because I don't want to. It's actually probably not the best way to do it. Let's see if we can just take a chunk at a time. So we got Pidgeotto, Pidgeot, all the way up to Raticate. These are some of the more basic ones, so I won't go over them too much. You can pause the video if there's any specific ones that you like, and if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. I'll answer them, because I don't know how clear this this goal is that I'm describing with my Pokemon plans, but I thought it'd be cool to show you guys all these cards anyway. So as you can see, we start having some old ones here that I need to get newer versions of so they match the artwork. That was a base set too. And we got a pretty old Venusaur. The reason why I don't just include this Venusaur is because some of my older cards, I was a kid when I collected them, I was a 90s kid, and they're not in very good shape. So obviously that's going to be an issue. I'd like them to be in at least decent shape. There's a Light Ninetales from the Neo series. We got Vileplume. I guess I'm missing a Gloom. That shouldn't be too hard to find. Paris, Parasect, Venomoth, like Trio. Got Meowth from one of the newer sets, obviously. Persian, Wigglytuff. I guess we're missing a Jigglypuff, which is kind of a simple one. Alakazam, this is a good card. It's from Team Rocket. So like I said, probably get a newer one, but I like having it. Then this is a card that everyone thinks is rare, but it's actually not. Champ, first edition. It was a promo card, so that's why it's not actually rare. And then I know you guys saw this, but like I said, these are kind of just randomly thrown in to keep stuff separated, so I'll show you all the full art legendaries at the end that I have. Okay, so there's some more Gen 1s right here. Slowbro, Slowpoke. This is another Jungle. Old one, but good one. Tentacruel. Golem from E-Series. That was also, I was big into Pokemon back in 2003 when the Ruby Gen 3 games were coming out for the Game Boy. So that's why I have a lot of those, or at least I used to before I started organizing them. Just another legendary we'll put over there. We got Dugong. I guess this isn't as organized as I thought it was. Some more Pokemon. We got Hitmonchan, Coughing, Rhydon. I used to in here have all the cards that would say like Brock's Rhydon or something like that, but I want to keep it consistent for the poster when I eventually get there, so I want to avoid having any of the trainer names on it. And just to keep this moving a little bit faster, I think I'm just going to kind of show you a little folded view like this, and then once we get to the more rare cards, I'll talk about them, because like I said, it's over 800, so it's quite a bit. Snorlax. Everybody likes Snorlax. And coming down here, I'm glad that I have these 3 promo cards. I like how they look. This is obviously from way back in the 90s. I have a newer version of Dragonite. We get the Mewtwo promo and the Mew. So that's basically Gen 1, as you guys can tell. I didn't really have too many missing, and the ones that I did are not super rare. The Charizard, like I said, I'll show you guys what I have at the end, because that's a pretty popular one, so I have it separated. Now let's move on to Gen 2. So an interesting thing about Gen 2, or at least the cards that I have from Gen 2, is that since Gen 2 didn't really have any reprints until recently with the Lost Thunder, a lot of these are going to be the old ones from Neo series of cards, which I was lucky enough to be collecting back then. Like I said, this, and I had a Meganium Neo card, but it was damaged, so I replaced it, unfortunately. I wish when I was a kid I kept better care of these things, but I did a decent job, I guess. Some of the more valuable cards I did lose. Like I used to have a base set Charizard. I have no idea where that is, but I recently bought some new old cards to make sure that I have at least a decent collection of really rare stuff. Like stuff like this, these commons and uncommons, a lot of people don't even really want to collect them, because I mean, there's not too much of a point unless you're trying to do like a poster or something like that, like I'm doing, or you want to have every single Pokemon, also like what I'm doing. So you can get them for really cheap. Like I got most of these cards, the ones that I didn't already have, for very cheap. As you can see, kind of there's a mixture of old cards and new cards. You can tell by the artwork and even by feeling the cards. The old ones are really thick, just the thicker paper and cardboard that they used to use, and then the newer ones are kind of flimsy. But not so bad. Kingdra's always cool. One of my favorite Pokemon. I love the Water Dragon combination. I wish more Pokemon had it, because as cool as Kingdra is, the stats are not that good. And I do play competitive Pokemon. A lot of people don't know. I do play Pokemon competitively. I used to be even more into it than I am now, but I was #1 on the doubles UU tier list for Smogon for a while, so I like playing that category, but I play other stuff too. The OU is a lot harder, the competition is a lot more fierce, but Tyranitar, another one of my, it might even be my favorite Pokemon, I'm not sure. Tyranitar and Metagross, two of my favorites. Lugia, hello. And then an old Celebi card. Not hollow though, I wish it was. And that's Gen 2. Everybody knows Gen 2 is kind of a small gen, not too many cards added, or not too many Pokemon added. Let's see if I can get these organized again. Take these out. Okay, so on to Gen 3, which is my favorite generation of Pokemon. So after I separated all those cards for you, the ones that I'll be going over at the end, the legendaries, let's look at my favorite generation, Gen 3, which is when I was young enough, or sorry, this is not in the right order. Yeah, here we go. Alright, the Trico line. So let me know what your guys' favorite Pokemon is, obviously. I'd really like to know. Something I haven't really talked about much on this channel because it's not really what I do on this channel, but it's always fun to show your other hobbies, and I think this collection is definitely good enough, big enough. I think it's interesting enough to have its own video, which is this, and this is going to be a long video if you haven't already figured out, because there's quite a few Pokemon and I have a lot to say about them, so I might even do a part 2. If you guys actually like this, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, because I can show you guys the progress on the actual posters when I get around to doing that. Right now I'm just showing you the cards that will eventually go onto the posters, but when I frame the posters and I line everything up, you know, we're gonna have all that work to do as well, which should be pretty fun. Gardevoir, a lot of people like that Pokemon. I guess we're missing a Slacking, it looks like. So yeah, there's a few. I have a list also, that's what my computer is up for right now. I have a list of the cards that I'm still missing and the Pokemon that I'm still missing. So I can mark it for myself. Aggron, Team Magma's Aggron. I don't have like a regular one, like I said, that doesn't say Team Magma, but Aggron's such a cool Pokemon, I had to keep it. Like I said, I think Gen 3 had a lot of cool designs, like that Manectric. That's pretty cool. This is back in the E series. I used to love the Plusle in mine, and I had these two cards. I thought they were so cool. They're still worth a bit, but like I said, once we get towards the end of the video, you start seeing cards that are worth more than I'd like to admit, because it's kind of ridiculous how much some of these cards are worth, and it's not always because they're, you know, really good in the actual competitive trading card game, which I don't know how to play. I don't play that. I meant, when I said that I played competitively, I mean I play the video games competitively, not the trading card games. But yeah, a lot of times the rarity of some cards are based off of just how much people like the specific Pokemon, like Charizard. Not particularly strong when you're talking about legendaries and other stuff with great abilities, but I mean, it is a cool looking Pokemon, so some of those old Charizard cards will go for hundreds of dollars, which is crazy. Gen 3, the only gen to introduce 2 pseudo-legendary Pokemon, with Salamence and Metagross. Like I said, Metagross being one of my favorites, tied with Tyranitar. It really is difficult for me to pick between Metagross and Tyranitar. I legitimately have a hard time, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think between those two, which one I should like more. I mean, I don't even want to get started on my Mega Metagross versus Mega Tyranitar, because that's just a whole nother can of worms. I used to really love Kyogre, one of my favorites. I think the legendaries for Gen 3 are some of the coolest ones as well. Definitely a cool trio there. Alright, so we're almost halfway. I mean, we're about halfway. Gen 4. The only series of Pokemon games that I have not actually played through is the Gen 4 games, because that is when I kind of stopped playing Pokemon for a short while. Then I got back into it, started Gen 5 and stuff, but I mean, I obviously know the Gen 4 Pokemon because I've come to learn them, but I didn't actually play those games, which is alright. I don't have too much of a love for Gen 4. Like, I thought the starters were kind of weak. I know people are gonna freak out, but I mean, I know Infernape is pretty strong. I actually like Empoleon the best. The typing is amazing. Water, Steel. There needs to be way more Pokemon like that. And when I have two of the same, it's because I don't know how the reverse holo versus the standard is going to look on the poster. Bidoof, you know, everybody's favorite Pokemon. Like I said, Gen 4 had some weird choices, like some of the Pokemon. I don't know what they were thinking, but that's okay. A lot of people say that about Gen 5, and maybe I'm a little biased, but I like Gen 5 a little bit more. Even though it had some weird ones like Trubbish and the ice cream Pokemon, but what can you do? They're not all gonna be good. I don't know why this one's in a sleeve right now. Like I said, it's been a while since I've actually gone through and organized these. That's why I had that pile in the beginning that needs to be added. We got Garchomp. Not a huge fan of Garchomp. I know you might think I am based on some of my other favorite Pokemon, but I'm not. I do like Lucario though. I think Lucario is really cool. A lot of people like Lucario. But for good reason. He's a cool Pokemon. He's got a really cool backstory too. I think Gen 4 had some forgettable ones like this. Like when I was searching through to get all the Pokemon, like who's ever used these Pokemon in a playthrough? Like I don't know what the point of that is. Magnezone. I thought, this is an unpopular opinion, but I like how they went through and they added evolutions to old Pokemon. I like that way better than adding Mega Evolutions. At this point, it's way too late for that, but I like what they're doing, but I actually don't like the final product. Like, I like that the idea was to add an extra Pokemon evolution, but I mean, this kind of looks, what is this? Like, this looks weird. And then Licky Licky, like, they can't just make Pokemon thicker and then that's it. Like, some of them look alright, like Electivire, cool. Magmortar, not so cool. Togekiss, pretty cool. Rhyperior doesn't look so cool. I mean, they just needed to put a little bit more thought into it, I think. Mamoswine is cool, I guess. But, I don't know, like, Probopass, like, it's almost like they were trying to make this a weird-looking Pokemon, and they succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. Got the 3 Lake Guardians, pretty cool. It came from the Forbidden Light series of cards, and then we got the legendaries, Dialga, Palkia. I like their typings, but like I said, I never played the game, so I don't have any real attachments to them. And then Manaphy, Fion, Darkrai, Shaman, Arceus. So that's Gen 4. Like I said, not my favorite, but I do like some of the Pokemon. Mostly Lucario, I would say, is probably my favorite from Gen 4. So that's the end of Box 1. Box 2, much smaller. As you can see, all this is just filled with like random sleeves and garbage. So it's because the generations of Pokemon got smaller and smaller, with the exception of Gen 5, which was actually quite a large addition to the Pokemon universe. I don't know how many are exactly in here. Maybe I should look that up, but oh well. That's not why you guys are here. I know most of you probably already just skipped to the end to see the really rare cards, but for those of you who are still here and want to see all of them, thank you for watching. Victini's first. I have no idea why, but it just is. Why did they... It's the only generation where they added Pokemon before the starters that was actually like a legendary. I don't know what the idea was there, but I don't work at Game Freak. So like I said, Gen 5, the reason why I like it more, I think it's just because they had so many Pokemon. Like, I'll admit that a lot of them were whack. Like these, like why do they have this? I don't know what they're thinking. I will show you the ones that I do like though. I like Gigalith. I'm a big fan of the rock and steel types and the water types. Those are my 3 favorites. Excadrill. I don't like how it looks so much, but I cannot deny the fact that it is a powerhouse in the game. Like, it is fierce. I use one on my team now in a Sandstorm team. With that Sand Rush ability, it's one of the fastest Pokemon out there. I like the Sandile line. I think they're really cool. Crocodile. Ash had a Crocodile, which was a cool addition to his team, one of his better ones actually. Sigilyph I actually think is pretty cool. I do have a Rainbow Rare, or at least I think I do. A Rainbow Rare Sigilyph, which was the first Rainbow Rare I ever pulled. Because I got back into card collecting not that long ago. That's why a lot of these cards I purchased individually. But like I said, unless it's a super popular Pokemon, you can get a card like this for like 15 cents, like 25 cents. So it's like not a huge investment, especially if you don't care about getting like the most pristine quality. As long as it's displayable for me, that's how I managed to keep this hobby under a reasonable price. I think Ferrothorn's really annoying in the video games. It's so bulky, but if you have a fire type, you can deal with it. There's Hydreigon. That's one of my favorites. That's why I like this generation too. I think that's such a cool Pokemon. I also really like Chandelure. I know people think that it's really lazy design, but I mean, if you've ever used it, it's amazing. It has one of the best special attacks out there. Seriously, like out of all Pokemon, it has one of the best. But yeah, Hydreigon. Definitely a cool Pokemon. So yeah, I don't only like the pseudo-legendaries, I do like some of the other ones. Volcanora is really cool, I think. About the legendary beasts, or what are they? Like legendary... They're not legendary dogs, because that's like Suicune and Entei and them. These 3, I don't have too much of a problem with them. I think they're kind of forgettable, but what can you do? Looks like I'm missing Landorus, I guess, so I need that. I think that these 2 legendaries were not the coolest out there. Oh, I have Landorus. I guess it wasn't in the right order. So yeah, the Generation 5 legendaries were not amazing, but the pseudo's cool, and some of the Pokemon in there are also cool. So we're moving along. We're almost to the end now. This is Gen 6. Gen 6 is pretty small quantity-wise, so shouldn't really be too long here. Chespin and Chestnut. Once again, you guys are getting my opinions on these. I don't know what the heck. I know they were thinking about like a knight, a mage, and then like a ninja as the trio. Oh, I guess I don't have a Greninja. But I know that was like the trio thoughts there. But I think they could have done a little bit better. Except for Greninja. Greninja, obviously, super cool. There's Florges. This is when the fairy type was added, obviously. So that balanced out the game, and people didn't like it at first, but now everyone's fine with it. I like it. I think it's a good type to add. I like when they went back and added fairy type to some of the more useless Pokemon, like Mawile. Aegislash, kind of cool Pokemon. So yeah, Mawile's like usable now. I guess I'm missing Malamar. I thought I had one. Skrelp and Dragalge. I seriously like the look, everything about this. Adaptability is a great ability for it, but I wish it was better. I wish it was faster, or it just needs something. It's not super usable, which is unfortunate because it's super cool. And then we got Tyrantrum and Aurorus. I like Aurorus better. I really like fossil Pokemon. I guess I skipped over it actually when I did Gen 3, but Cradily is another one of my favorite Pokemon, which is weird because it's kind of like obscure, not that good, but if you have a Storm Drain Cradily on your team, it is a tank. It is like seriously difficult to knock out unless you have a really strong fighting type enemy. And I only play doubles, by the way, so a lot of my strategies and opinions come from me only knowing how to play doubles, so that's why I like Cradily. I use Cradily even against legendary Pokemon, and he doesn't have too much of a problem unless they're specifically meant to take out Pokemon like Cradily, like rock types. Alright, so now we're moving on to the last generation, Generation 7. So like I said, this is the last one until they add Generation 8, and I am forced to go buy more cards and expand my poster idea and all that garbage. So even though I'll be really happy when they add Gen 8, it will be quite a big change for me. These hollow starters I got from like a Cheerios box, I think, back in the day. Not that long ago, but yeah, they were giving them out in like Cheerios boxes, and they weren't that hard to get, so I got them. I don't know if they're rare or anything. Probably not, but I think they're cool. Vikavolt, another really upsetting Pokemon. You look at this, it's an electric type, it's got these crazy wings, and guess what? It's really slow, which makes it not usable, so, in my opinion. Like I said, if you guys have different opinions, definitely let me know in the comments. I mean, I love talking Pokemon. It's something I don't get to do too much on this channel, so if you guys want to talk Pokemon, definitely should. Salazzle's a cool Pokemon. Even the ability on there is pretty cool. Beware. Do not like Beware. My opinions on Gen 7 is alright. It was kind of mediocre, nothing amazing. I thought Golisopod would be a lot better than it actually is. I was really unhappy that they leaked all the Pokemon beforehand, so there was like no surprise when the game came out. And hopefully when Gen 8 comes out, they do not do that. Minior is pretty cool. Like I said, I like the rock types. Mimikyu is cool. Mimikyu's got a good ability. Drampa, like, why are they adding normal type to Pokemon? It doesn't help them at all. It just gives them another weakness, so. And Komodo was a huge letdown. As far as pseudo-legendaries go, it just doesn't have the right stat distribution, and it was a big letdown. The Tapus, though, the Island Guardians, let's see if I can do this. Tapu Koko, Lele, Bulu, and Finny are amazing. I love their abilities, their typing, their stat distributions. I think they're great. So I do like that a lot. And I bought Pokemon Moon, so I'm a bigger fan of Lunala than Solgaleo. Then we got some of the Ultra Beasts, which are not, I don't really know if they're technically Pokemon or not, but some people like them, some people don't. I don't. I like Marshadow though, he's not an Ultra Beast. I think that's a great typing and it looks cool. So, that's basically that for these Pokemon. It was quite a big lot. So now, let's move on to some of the, let's do this by rarity, I guess. I thought there was more than this, but we'll see. So these are some of the full art legendaries that I have. So my plan for these is to have a separate poster with just the legendaries in order, only the full art form. So this, they're not in order right now, but look at this. You got Rayquaza EX. Definitely a cool Pokemon. Lunala GX, full art. These look amazing in person, by the way. Like this video probably doesn't do them enough justice, but these cards look amazing, and they have some really cool texturing on them. All of them are textured. See, I don't know if you can actually see the texture. Yeah, hopefully my camera's picking it up, but like each one of these cards is textured amazingly. We got the Ho-Oh, pretty cool. Kyogre, one of my favorite legendaries of all time. This card also looks amazing. Yveltal, definitely another cool Pokemon for sure. Everybody's favorite, the Gen 1 first legendary that everybody loved, Mewtwo. Got Necrozma. Solgaleo GX, pretty cool also. This Groudon is also a cool card. I don't think it looks as good as the Kyogre card, but it's still pretty cool. I think it's a little bit better than these just plain backgrounds that a lot of the newer ones have, but what can you do? Gengar, I don't know why that's in there. I guess those two are not sorted well. Xerneas. And Latios. There is a Latios, and I think I have it in the mail right now because it was a lot harder to find than a Latios, and it was way more expensive, so it took me more time. So where are my other ones? Let me see. Alright, so these last group of cards that I have right here are some of the really rare ones. So this is the stack that's worth more than everything you just saw, and it's worth more than you'd probably expect. I guess I could try and give you the price range of them currently right now, but a lot of it would be my guess, and I'll just do it on the ones that are actually substantial prices. So here we go. Pikachu, not that great. Celebi EX, which is cool. These are some duplicates that I have in here. The Charizard Secret Rare from the EX Dragon series, with also the Charmeleon, and I believe there should be a Charmander in here somewhere. Well, we'll find it if it's in here, but there's another Mewtwo. Entei. This is a crazy cool looking Mew. So many colors there. Mega Tyranitar. Another one of my favorites. Victini. Manaphy. We got some Evolutions, which I hope to get a complete set of. What is it? Magierna. Sorry. Never really had to pronounce that one. Another Marshadow. Hoopa, Jirachi, and Stakataka. Marshadow full art. This is the first full art I ever pulled, so I was happy to get this one. Now here's some of my older cards from my original collection days. Venusaur, base set. And here's that Charmander that I was talking about. It's from the EX Dragon to complete the set. And then we got the awesome trio here. Rayquaza, Kyogre, and Groudon. These ones are awesome. I only had to buy one of them separate because I didn't have it, but I had these two from my original collection back when I was a kid. This is a secret rare trainer. I don't really like them that much, but I think they're worth something. These two are promos. Like, again, I think they're worth something. A Tapu Koko. And then I think we're getting into my favorite Pokemon, the shinies. So I used to shiny hunt in the actual games, which means I'm not going to get into it, but it's a method of collecting alternate colored Pokemon. So we got Ho-Oh here. Actually, let me see if I can lay them all out on the table for you guys. Alright, so I have all the shinies laid out for you guys now, and you can see them a lot better. These come from the Neo series plus the Shining Legends series, which is the newer ones. I will let you know which ones are the really expensive ones. I think the newer ones, which are the Shining Legends, I think they'll become expensive in time, but right now they're not. Shining Gyarados, which was one of the only ones that I maintained from when I was a kid, in good condition. So good for me. Shining Lugia, Celebi, Tyranitar. This one is amazing, one of my favorites. This is the one where I like the color scheme of the shiny Pokemon way better than the original. Just that change from like purple and the change to purple and brown instead of green. I just like it so much better. Rayquaza. And by the way, this is about probably like a $60 to $70 card right now. There's a Rayquaza. Shining Steelix, probably about a $40 card, which is pretty cool. Back when they came out with the Steel type back in the day, I thought it was the coolest thing, and it's still one of my favorite types to this day. And everybody's favorite. This is probably my most expensive card. I've ever owned. I think this is even more expensive than the base Charizard. This is the Neo Shining Charizard, which is easily worth, I mean, depending on the condition, what condition, mine's Mine's not in great condition. PSA would probably give it like, I don't even know, maybe like a 6 or 7. But this is worth over $100. And if you get like a pristine one, it could be worth like $1,000. So I'm very lucky to have this card. It's my favorite card that I own. Shining Bell Canyon and Mew from the newer sets. Genesect, Jirachi. There's that Magikarp to go with the Gyarados. And actually that's it. So that is the collection of Pokemon cards. Like I said, it's a work in progress, but it's a very fun project that I have. And if you guys do want to see what it looks like when I get to actually start putting these into a poster, and I start making the poster, and I start talking more about what the overall plans are. And I mean, this is a long-term project, so it's not like I'm going to be doing these very often. This is just like a once now, and then maybe in a couple years, you know, I'll do some more stuff on it. But if you guys like it, be sure to subscribe and comment below. And I really appreciate all the help and the support you guys give to the channel. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon with another video.